Inhale. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There was a Buddhist monk who went to a shop and bought something and gave a $100 bill, and then he asked for the change. Then the shopkeeper was also attending Buddhist classes, so he said change comes within. The verses that we learned yesterday in Ashtavakra Gita and also the verses which are coming today are addressing the fundamental mistake, the fundamental problem that is there within of taking the reflection to be oneself. You all might have come across the Greek mythology where the Greek hunter Narcissus, who was a very handsome man. The whole country was appreciating how beautiful, how handsome he is. And one day he was roaming around in the forest, and then Apsara called Echo approached him and she wanted to be with him. And he rejected her. And then there is also goddess of revenge in the Greek mythology, and she wanted to take revenge on behalf of this Apsara, Echo, because Echo was so much in grief because she was rejected, and finally what was left of her was a small sound which echoes at the surface. That's how in Greek mythology Echo is explained. And she wanted to take the revenge, and she made Narcissus go near a pond, and then he was sitting by the pond and he looked at his reflection in the pond, and then he fell in love with his reflection. He just sat there appreciating, admiring his reflection. He just sat there. And he just sat, and his life stopped there, his death happened there, and where he was sitting in his place, there came a plant and a flower which is named as Narcissus later. So the point of the story here is that we seem to be no separate from that Narcissus who just died admiring his own reflection. We seem to only be connected with our reflection, a persona which is creation in our mind all the time, and then we cannot see beyond it. We cannot see anything. The entire life is masked by this image, and we create a picture also with the images available. Somebody has an American dream, somebody has an Indian dream as his or her picture, towards which one is going. It's just an illusion. That picture is an illusion, because first of all you put it in time, and you have imagined another future there, and you have put that picture there in the future and you want to reach. It's like running for water in a mirage in the desert. That's what life leads to. That's what life leads to. So this is very important. Yesterday what we dealt with in the verse, I only was trying to make this point that the doership, the persona, what you think yourself to be, the small I, that person is just a mental construct, purely a mental image, and of all the things. And here nothing comes to our help. We try to solve this problem through religion, the problem of doership. You take yourself to be a person, and then you say you are the doer, and then that is a pain. That's a load, because something which does not belong to your true nature is superimposed upon it. Like the body tries its best to flush out a virus or a bacteria. So all the time there is a defense mechanism now, because you're holding on to something which does not belong to you. So all our movement in life is for that. We want to shed something all the time. There's an insight there, but we miss the insight all the time. It's a very simple and profound insight. Why we say in Vedanta that happiness is your real nature? Why do we say that? What is the proof? Is it because the books are saying so and the teachers have been saying so? If unhappiness were to be your real nature, you should have been fine with it. None of us are fine with that mental movement at all. We want to get rid of all the things which are unpleasant all the time. And only when there is the state of absorption, and when that mind which is no more in movement, that we associate in the world as happiness, the state which has come because of satisfying a desire. No, it's your natural state. It's natural state. Happiness doesn't disturb anybody. You never say, oh my God, I'm so tired of being happy. No, you never say that. Why did Bhagavan give so much happiness to me? Nobody questions that. Even in a regular worldly moment, for one who he and the Bhagavan are different, even to that person, he never questions. So this insight we miss. We know this. This is a true insight of our life. We should know this. If unhappiness were to be our real nature, we should have been fine with it. We are not fine. We are always wanting to get rid of it. We must know that. We must know that. And then here the verse number 5 yesterday said that a person or that jnani whose mind is free from to be done or what has been done and there is something more to be done, this moment is not at all there in a jnani's mind, is because there is no kartrutvam at all, and thus such a mind which has understood the falsity of this image is no more giving reality to even that doership thought. Even that is a thought, that I am a doer. That witnessing self who is a jnani does not pay any attention to this vritti called I am the doer. Thus he has nothing to be done, or he has no regrets and hurt and guilt about what has happened in the past even. So such a jnani's mind is indifferent to dharma, artha, kama and moksha. That is what the verse said. We'll just repeat the verse once more. Idam kritamidam neti dvandvair muktam yada manaha dharmartha kama moksheshu nirapeksham tada bhavet virakto vishayadveshtha ragi vishayalolupaha virakto vishayadveshtha ragi vishayalolupaha Graha vihinastu navirakto naragavan. Graha vihinastu navirakto naragavan. We must understand here, yes, there's a Pathabeda. What is the
second word?
Okay, I'll look into it and then give the compare and give it to you tomorrow. I mean, tell it to you all tomorrow. Yeah. See, we must understand the mind is conditioned to operate in dualities. It seems to have a great difficulty to appreciate something which is beyond dualities, something which is non-dual. What you understand? Pain, pleasure. You don't understand anything which can be something beyond it, or in something neutral place. You don't understand. We don't seem to understand at all. We don't have appreciation for a neutral state at all, the silent state at all. It is conditioned to operate between two extremes, raga, dvesha. That's what we understand. We don't understand there can be something which doesn't fit into this paradigm at all. Sukha, dukkha, excitement, boredom. That's all we can understand. We don't seem to appreciate anything in between. Here Ashtavakra is telling a moment of the jnani which is a no moment, in fact, which is beyond these dualities. So he is examining a particular moment and how it is perceived in the world. So he's saying that one who has aversion towards the sense objects, a person has developed a sort of dvesha in the name of spirituality. He wants to all the time expend his energy in saying that no, this does not belong to me, I have to be away from it, I don't want it. Real understanding is not there. He just wants to avoid the object because he thinks that misery comes from the object. The misery is coming from the object. Yes, there seems to be some discrimination here, but as we are examining, things become clear to you. So this person who is avoiding all these sense objects is perceived to be a virakta in the society. Raga is attachment, and viraga or virakta here in this case is a person who does not have attachment. In fact, he wants to avoid it all the time. Society seems to give some value to such a person. Here there is another person, a worldly person, ragi, who is always vishaya lolupaha. He is all the time one who hankers after sense objects. He wants to go after sense objects and he wants to possess it and have it all the time. So there is this two movement. One movement where a person is trying to avoid with effort. He is putting some effort to avoid the object. Here there is another person who is putting effort again to gain the object. So here Ashtavakra is telling, this is how we understand. We seem to give some value to a person who is trying to avoid with effort. But Ashtavakra is telling that, but he who does not accept or neither reject, that is a jnani. That is a jnani. He is neither a virakta, he is neither a ragi. Then what is he? We don't have too many words. He is what he is. He is at a neutral place. He has no two moments. He neither has this moment going after something, or he does not even have the moment with effort to reject something. You know, Swami TV gives a beautiful example and explains this. The world has only rings. You cannot complain that it is pulling me. You have the peg, you hold the peg. You hold the hook, you hold the hook and you put it, and then now complain that the world is binding me. What is this? What is this? This is a silly moment. The world is what it is. The mobile phone store is not pulling you there. You allow yourself to be pulled. There are rings there. You put the hook and now complain. You put the hook and complain. You hold on to people and now say family is a bondage. Arey, give it up. Nobody is wanting you there 365 days. And now when there is rejection from the children, now you cannot understand it. What is wrong now? You don't, your world shatters. You are holding to them, you are holding on to them. Now they feel suffocated, they want to be free. Now you cannot accept it. So, a jnani is a person who has no effort even in giving up. He has no effort even in acquiring something. Why? Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. He has discovered this sacred space of Sat. He abides in that Sat, which is consciousness, and also which is of the nature of fullness, Ananta, limitlessness, Ananda, Satchit Ananda. So he abides in that place. He has understood that he does not require another person or thing or a situation to fill the void, because he does not have a void at all. He is in the space of fullness. He understands that in my true nature there is nothing which is lacking. It is of the nature of fullness. Thus he does not have both the moments. He does not have both the moments. There was one monk who was walking in the forest, and then he saw a gemstone which was just there. He stumbled upon it, and then he picked up the gemstone and he put it in his bag, and he was walking. Now there was a traveler who was also walking in that direction, who joined that monk. And then he said, "Can I walk with you? I'm also going in the same direction." This monk said, "Yes, please, you're welcome." Then it was 12 in the noon. They wanted to rest under a tree for a while and take something. This traveler did not have anything with him. This monk had some fruits and other things which the grihasthas had given him. So he said, "Come on, I have something I'm willing to share with you. You take it." As that monk was taking out these fruits from the bag, this traveler saw that gemstone. He saw, what use of this gemstone to this monk? I think he must be a fake monk. He's trying to portray something. Okay, let me play my trick and ask for this. If he's a true monk or not, let me just ask for this gemstone from him. He asked, "Hey, you seem to have a gemstone. Can you give it to me like this fruit?" The monk said, "Just take it, no problem." And then monk started walking. And then this fellow's traveler now wanted to change his direction because he's afraid again he may ask it back. So he walked in the opposite direction. He went along a distance and then realized something and then ran back to that monk. He said, he did pranam and he said, "Oh, I do not want this gemstone anymore. Take it back." He gave it back. And then this monk was wondering what happened, and he asked, "Why? What do you want? What do you want then?" Then he said, "No, I don't want this. I want that knowledge or that whatever by which you are willing to give this gemstone up so easily." That is a mind of a Mahatma. Externally you seem to notice that the person is holding on to something. No, there's no real holding on. There's no real holding on. So there is no effort even to hold on to, because he realizes the falsity of these mental images. But that is a profound insight, because somehow this gross thinking happens in us. We seem to conclude that no, that is, Hare, what is this mental picture? This gemstone is a real stone. I can touch it, feel it. How are you able to say that this is a mental picture? No, examine it, really. Examine it. Examine it some more. Examine it some more. So, a jnani stays in that place of neutrality, if for want of expression. He is neutral. He has no effort even to hold on to or give up, nor even go after something. And all this is because what? He realizes that he is not a doer. He realizes he is not a doer, and then there is no personality at all within. From this understanding, from this vision, he has dissolved that center itself. When the center itself is taken off, there is no radius, there is no circumference. So all the circles that we create is because we are holding on to a center. So somebody's radius is 10 people, another person's radius is 100 people, another person, it just keeps changing. How much ever you try to avoid, center is still there. Center is not going to go away by just giving up this radius of people. Just cutting the radius is not going to take away the center. You must do something else to just take out the center. That happens through this vision of understanding that this personality, that center, is a mental construct that we are holding on to. That image, that has to be given up. And that's what he is telling, for us to come to recognize that yes, it is possible to operate even in the world from this place of neutrality, from this sacred space alone. You go out and you revert back to the sacred space. And this is beautifully given example in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, while explaining the Sthita Prajna Lakshana. Shri Krishna compares the transaction of a jnani to that of a tortoise or a turtle. It comes out of its shell only when it's needed to. Then kurmanga eva sarvasha. So, and that tortoise reverts back to its shell. So here jnani has not again built up some superstructure around him to resort back. No, he just reverts back to his sacred space. His sacred space, which is Sata. That is the movement. That is what the jnani's transaction is. I also mentioned in the class that only when you are holding on to something, then the question of giving up comes. When there is no holding on, then where is the question of giving up? And you must understand, this is a natural moment. When again effort is involved, you will be again a dukhi. That has already come in the previous verse. There is no effort even in to be in this state. It's total effortlessness. People must understand, there is so many times it's said give up this and give up this, that. See, if there is an effort involved in giving up, you still have not grown out of the attachment towards that object or person or situation. So let it be a natural movement. When that attachment has naturally fallen off, then there is no effort involved in giving up something. It's a natural movement. It's a natural movement. Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityor mukshiyamamritat. So when that pumpkin or a cucumber, when it is ripe, there is no effort involved in separating itself from the creeper. There is no effort. Nobody has to pull it. It just separates. And you see, there is another insight in that example. The cucumber does not run away to Rishikesh. The cucumber or bottle gourd will continue to be wherever it is. It is just separated from the creeper, that's all. So this is a cognitive shift. Just by changing some physical situations, the problem is not going to be solved. It's a cognitive shift. It's a cognitive understanding. You don't have to leave something. You don't have to physically changing something. It's not going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. there was a Buddhist monk, a new initiate, who joined the monastery. And there was a rule in the monastery that you are allowed to speak only once a year. So, and that 1 year you are to be in meditation. And only after the end of 1 year, the Guru and Shishyas, head monk and all the monks assemble, and they're allowed to talk only one sentence. So after 1 year, this new initiate comes in. On that day he says, the bed is hard. That was his only one sentence he could talk. Second year, there are mosquitoes. Third year, the water is not hot. Fourth year, Guru said, you go back. You go back. Because still, if mind is not settled yet, with, not come to terms with external environment, simply changing your place from world to ashram or world to monastery, from brahmacharya to sannyasa, from grihastha to sannyasa, it's not going to work. Not going to work. So that is what Ashtavakra is indicating to us. He is not operating in the perspectives of the world at all. He takes a quantum leap, stands on a cliff, and then observes and gives his perspective. And then only when you can move to a higher perspective, you realize the folly and smallness of the worldly things. You think that the world is a mess, Rishikesh, this, that. You see, when the flight takes off from Dehradun airport, and if you peep down, everything seems to be organized quite well. There's a river, there's housing block, there's a road, everything, it's fine. It's fine. But if you are here and looking around, nothing seems to be all right. Nothing seems to be all right. So being attached to the world, holding on to the world, and you keep on complaining, I am bound, it is not going to take you anywhere. That is what Ashtavakra is telling. A person who does not accept, who has no raga, or neither he has dvesha, does not reject the objects. So that person is neither a ragi or he is neither a viragi. These words don't have any application in the vocabulary of a jnani. That is a jnani. That is a jnani. We'll repeat the verse once more. Virakto vishayadveshtha Ragi vishayalolupaha Graha moksha vihinastu Na virakto na ragavan Graha moksha vihinastu. One who neither accepts nor rejects. That is a graha moksha vihinastu na viraktaha na ragavan. He is neither a virakta, he is neither a ragavan, or one with whom ragas are there. You see, all this can happen only when mind can shed the falsehood and then revert back to its source. Revert back to its source. Swami Vivekananda ji, when he met Sri Ramakrishna for the first time, Swami Vivekananda, it's there in the Ramakrishna literature that Swami Vivekananda sang a song for Sri Ramakrishna. So it's a very profound song, something like Mono Cholo Nija Gruha. And he says that this mind is wandering in a foreign land with a foreign costume all the time. And this is a bhranti. This is a delusion. It's wearing different cloaks of doership, enjoyership, father, mother, teacher, guru, acharya, sannyasi, anything, various things, and it's all foreign to it. Really speaking, its source is something different. Its real home or real griha is something else, not here. So he says that mind, oh mind, he's addressing his own mind, that you revert back to your real home. This is a foreign land where you're roaming around. So that is a profound insight. When mind naturally abides in Sat, then we don't need any more explanations. Any more explanations. Words are not required because words have done its job. Words have done its job. Moving to the next verse. Heyopadeyata tavat Heyopadeyata tavat Samsara pankuraha Samsara pankuraha Spruha jivati yavadvai Spruha jivati yavadvai Nirvichara dashaspadam Nirvichara dashaspadam. Here Ashtavakra is again coming back to desire. He says, as long as the desire, which is the root cause of aviveka, is going to be there, so long there will be raga and dvesha. So long there will be raga and dvesha, which are the sprouts and branches of the tree of samsara. You know, the description becomes more clear when you look into the Gita verses, 2nd chapter, 62nd verse, where he says, Shri Krishna says, as long as the mind is contemplating upon the sense objects, it is going to develop attachment towards them. And attachment leads to desire. And the desire gives rise to anger. You see, it all starts from a very seemingly very non-dangerous thing. What? The mind is just appreciating and contemplating upon sense objects. That's all. That's all it is doing. You're moving around in the mall and your eyesight falls on some particular object. In the second round, again you look into it because already an attachment is formed. Now the moment just goes in that direction. You did not come to the mall for that purpose at all. You wanted to just buy salt and milk and go back. Now you bought this and then forgot that. Forgot salt and milk. That's what happens in the supermarket all the time. We go, we get lost, what we wanted we miss and come back home and realizing that, oh, I did not drink the milk for which I went. So this is what happens. So Shri Krishna is further telling that Krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha. From anger, there is a clouding of your judgment. Why does anger come? No, this fulfilling desire seems to be a very easy thing. It's not like a scary thing or dangerous thing at all. Yes, when you fulfill the desire, yes, for that at that moment there is no problem. Suppose you cannot fulfill the desire. Everything that is advertised you cannot afford. So then there is a disturbance. There's anger there. Or suppose you buy or get what you desired. Now there is a scratch on it. There's again anger. While cleaning, that object fell down. There's anger again. Why? Because there is a non-acceptance. Non-acceptance of realities here. That this is an object. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. That which has a beginning. The object had a beginning, manufacturing date. And then it has an expiry date also, even though it is not a food product. Even though it's not a food product. And we cannot accept that reality. So again there is anger. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Sammohat smriti vibhramaha. There's clouding of even one's judgment. That's why we make various more disturbing decisions from it, which doesn't help us at all in the life. And then whatever viveka is there, even that evaporates. That smriti vibhramaha. From that there is buddhi nasha. There's viveka also goes. Whatever discrimination, intellectual knowledge of no, this is wrong, this is right, all that dharma, entire dharma which was in place, that is also evaporated. That is also lost. Then from that, one's life is totally destroyed. Totally destroyed. Viveka Chudamani, somewhere in 350 that number verses, gives a beautiful example for this. The movement of mind, if you just allow it to take place, it will fall. Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya compares it to the falling of a ball on a flight of steps. On a flight of steps. First step is missed, then it bound to roll down and then go down and get destroyed. That will be our movement if we entertain this again and again. The dynamics of desire must be totally decoded, and then you must come to terms with it. You must come to terms with it. Then how does the life flow? Just life flows, that's all. You don't have to have all these things in the mind. Life moves based on necessities, not on desires. Not on desires. Life will move based on necessities, not on comforts and luxuries. There's no disturbance there. So there can be a moment without desires, and we must recognize it. And that life is a free life. That life is full of freedom. You see, this moment first of all happens because we are again putting that center or mental construct in place. All comes back to that. I want you to pay attention to that mental persona of what you are. You have an image of what you are. I am so and so, with this knowledge, with this gotra, with this thing, that thing, this everything in place. It's all because of that personality, which is an artificial creation, which is the real demon. Like in the Frankenstein novel, the young scientist assembles a demon, he creates it, and one day it claims that you are my creator, but I am your master. We don't realize it. We go on developing that mental demon that we have created. It's like that Victor who assembled the monster in place. And that monster in that novel, it's a very Vedantic things happen in that novel later on. That Victor, scientist, puts in place this monster. And then now that monster develops its own brain, its own thinking. And it develops a thinking where it disrespects the master and then gets indulged in sense pleasures. Now, this monster was created, and at one point in the story, that monster demands that scientist to create another female companion because it is bored now. It threatens to kill the master now. He wants that a female companion. Now he starts to assemble one more and realizes that what if this another female monster becomes a bigger monster, so he disbands that. And then finally he leaves some philosophical advice with his friend that do not seek some pleasure in these things, these kind of things he leaves. And that monster also realizes that it is the cause of so much drama. It tries to kill some people, it tries to kill the scientist. So much drama happens, and finally that monster recognizes this and promises the friend of that scientist to go to a distant place and just destroy itself, or just an invisible place. That's what we have to do to this personality, which is our own creation, but somehow it has become our master. It becomes our master. It deprives us of viveka. It deprives us of vairagya. It deprives us of natural movement in life. All the time it is worked up. It commands. Pujya Swamiji used to give a nice example. Master of the dog is holding the dog with a leash, and if he directs the dog during the walk, it's a nice sight. If the dog is pulling the master, it's not a very nice sight. So do not Do not give so much power to that persona, to that personality. Do not give so much reality to it. Disbandon it, abandon it. It will go away. There are two approaches given for calming the mind in the Shastra. One approach is like a child, which is just crying and it is restless. You give the child with loving words, you calm down the child. Like that of a child, you calm down the mind. Another approach, which is now psychologists and all don't agree, which is not a right approach also for handling the child, you just ignore. You ignore. The mind comes up with pictures. Ignore. Stay a witness. Stay as a witness to the mental moment. Ignore it. Something else comes up in that. Ignore it. Something else comes up. Ignore it. That is the only way to handle it. Thus, as Ashtavakra tells that heyopadeyatha, so the sense of acceptance and rejection will be the cause of the tree of samsara. It will all be there, and take out our discrimination, because there is a desire in place and there is a desiring personality in place. There is no human being there is human becoming. We have put a human becoming in place which wants to become all the time something which is not. Now get established in Sat. Don't pay attention to the movement of mind. Stay as a witness. Don't pay attention at all. So then it will lose its power over you. It will lose its power. And like that demon in the Frankenstein novel, it will go away on its own. This is a very important recognition that we need to do. That is what Ashtavakra is telling us in this verse, that it is with us to end the seed of samsara. Nobody is going to come and burn that seed of samsara. It's in our hands. And we make use of all the help from the Shastras, from the Guru, from the words of the wise people, and roast that seed of samsara. That's the example given, nice example. How that you roast the seed of samsara through jnana-agni, from the fire of knowledge, and now there's no occasion for that seed to sprout again. There's no occasion at all. So that must be recognized. Moving on to the next verse. Here Ashtavakra is telling how the jnani is just like a child again, that who is well established in self, just like that of a child. Pravruttau jayate ragah. Pravruttau jayate ragah. Nivruttau dvesha eva hi. Nivruttau dvesha eva hi. Nirdvandvo balavadhiman. Nirdvandvo balavadhiman. Evameva vyavasthitah. Evameva vyavasthitah. He is again contrasting the movement of a jnani, or the stability of a jnani, with that of the movement of a worldly person. Ashtavakra is telling that as long as there is a doer and there is activity, it breeds attachment. You want to hold on to your actions, you want to hold on to the doer, you want your name on it everywhere. You want your name on it. So now, and that is going to be there. And then, when you are trying to avoid something, there is a hatred in place, because you are trying to avoid something. You see, there are some examples in some stories in spirituality which says that there was a sannyasi and somebody wanted to test whether he is real or not. Then they put 100 rupees note under his pillow. Now that night this jnani did not get sleep because there was money under his pillow. See, this description does not, this story does not fit into Ashtavakra's analysis of a jnani at all. See, if that jnani has no connection with that 100 rupee note or whatever, that gold ring which was put under his pillow, why should he lose sleep? He's losing sleep because he has still aversion towards that object. Aversion towards that object. So here he's telling that as long as you are trying to avoid, it generates some hate and aversion. And jnani is one who does not have, who is free from both these pair of opposites, raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion, just like a child. Just like a child. The child really does not have any aversion or attachment. We condition it to have more and more, more and more, more and more. Evolutionarily, the child has only attachment or a raga towards the taste of mother's milk. That's all, nothing else. And then we superimpose an entire structure on that young child. What happened now as an adult? We're trying to come out of that conditioning. Again, that's why a reverse movement. A reverse movement. So this insight we must have, that as long as you are operating only in the realm of raga and dvesha, you can never have an insight into that sacred space. Once you start operating from that sacred space, if you are able to abide in that sata, then there is neither raga, there is neither dvesha. We have to understand this conditioning which has come in place, now move in a reverse movement to decondition. You see, if you really, I have this interest to learn from our ancestors, who are the primates, our great apes. A lot of insights can be done. So in India, there is a tradition. When a person meets the guru or an elderly person, you tell abhivadaye. So you hold like this and you trace back your lineage to few rishis, Abhivadeya, Atreyasa, Angirasa, whatever, and then I belong to this Pravara and this, that you say. Actually, if you stop at one rishi, if you go back, you land up with chimps or some Homo erectus and other people from which you can derive a lot of insight. Because that is where it's a family tree, nothing to be bothered about it. That's how the movement is. Now you see why this attachment comes in place and how so much conditioning operates in our life, and we are succumbed to that pressures of that conditioning. See, the primates have this clinging reflex because the young chimp